हसल कल्चर के बारे में मैं बात करना चाहती हूँ. हमें इतनी सारी चीजें अचीव करनी है. I don't know any other way than hustling. But there's also another way. Manifestation, ease and grace. Were you a hustler? Radio jockey, MC, television presenter, anchor, actor, writer, author, entrepreneur, angel investor. मैं कुछ भूली तो नहीं? I don't think so. एक इंसान इतनी सारी चीजें कर सकता है? बिल्कुल. This is the Lincia Rosario Show और आज मेरे साथ जो है, he is very special. A magician when it comes to ideas and turning these ideas into reality. We have Roshan Abbas ji. Hello.
Thank you for a lovely introduction. I mean, I was wondering if you'd miss something or you wouldn't.
No, I didn't. Yes, I didn't. But it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And I've personally absolutely loved your work. I've seen you since so many years. In fact, you know, I am a mixed emotion right now. So many emotions going. One of gratitude because you've been my teacher. One of happiness. One of apprehension कि अब क्या होगा. लेकिन बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि आप हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं. लास्ट हम मिले थे, आई थिंक वी डिड अ सेशन ऑनलाइन Zoom पे. Creativity and public speaking. And one thing that has absolutely enamored me about you is आपने इतनी सारी चीज़ें की हैं. मतलब हमारे पेरेंट्स बोलते एक चीज़ करो, फोकस करो, और आप ट्रांजिशन भी इतने एफर्टलेसली आपने किया. How did you do it, Roshan?
I think creatively what happens is अगर आप curious होते हैं, if you're a person who creatively is curious about new things, I've always been very curious. So what happens is that if I'm doing one thing, after a while मुझे लगता है मैंने उसको sort कर लिया, तो I start getting bored, and then I creatively start looking for the next thing to do. I also believe that if it's a work that can be done by someone else, then I try to find that person, put them in my place so that business continues running, then I can do something else. So I think, अगर आप curious हैं and if you can hire your own replacement in a sense and you're not scared of doing that, you can train other people and move on, then you can always do new things. That's what I normally end up doing.
Hire your replacement, especially जब आप लोगों को trust नहीं कर सकते हैं. I don't know how you do that. Like trusting is an art in itself. And I would want to get to this, but before that, being a freelancer, you started as an RJ, फिर उसके बाद MCing, फिर TV, फिर event manager, Encompass. I'm sure बहुत बार काफ़ी लोगों ने आपको ये कहा होगा कि क्या कर रहे हो अभी, you should stick to one thing, right?
Because of the time that I started, किसी को ज़्यादातर पता ही नहीं था कि हमारी इंडस्ट्री कहाँ जाने वाली है. I mean, when I'm talking of the late 90s, early 2000s, even event management was not something. I mean, radio भी शुरू हो रहा था, FM शुरू हो रहा था, private TV शुरू हो रहा था. तो पहली बात तो लोगों को खुद ही नहीं पता था कि हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं. So there wasn't too much advice that people could give. Yes, many people would say that why don't you just stick to one thing. तो अगर रेडियो कर रहे हो तो रेडियो ही करते रहो, टेलीविजन कर रहे हो तो टेलीविजन ही करते रहो. But when I started looking at business, मेरे ज़माने में ओपरा विनफ्री जैसे शो करती थी. एक और मेल टेलीविजन एंकर थे called Phil Donahue. Donahue used to do a show, and in an interview it was said, somebody interviewed him and said, so what are you thankful for? So he said that in television, अगर आपका करियर जो है वो 10 साल चलता है, then you're great, then you're good. And if it goes on for 15 years, then you're God.
Wow.
But more than that, don't expect. So in my head, I immediately started saying that if it is 1996, 97, तो 15 साल के बाद मैं क्या कर रहा हूँगा? So my mind was already working on what could I do next. So I somehow feel that while the freelance world is exciting, today maybe it's a lot more stable, but in that time it really wasn't. So I was looking at setting up a business purely that एक stability मिल जाए. So I could set up something new, and again it was the same thing that मैं show MC कर रहा हूँ, I'm presenting and I'm anchoring an event like you do.
Right.
And while I was anchoring the event, I would have 100 ideas about how this show could be better. Because I had studied theatre, because I had worked in a professional theatre group, और बहुत चीज़ें इवेंट में आर वेरी मच लाइक अ प्ले, राइट? एक स्टेज लगा है, लाइट है, साउंड है, लोग आ रहे हैं, तो मुझे लगता था ये तो मैं इनसे अच्छा जानता हूँ, एंड इफ आई नो समथिंग बेटर देन आई वुड डेफिनेटली गिव इट अ शॉट. बट या, आई मीन अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल एट दैट टाइम यूज्ड टू कीप वार्निंग मी सेइंग जस्ट डू वन थिंग, सेटल डाउन. पर मुझे पता नहीं, मुझे क्रिएटिव कीड़ा थोड़ा ज़्यादा है, तो मैं सुनता ही नहीं था, मैं करता रहता था.
राइट. लेकिन थिएटर की बात करें तो काफ़ी लोग ये कहते हैं, इनफैक्ट आई गेट अ लॉट ऑफ एडवाइस अबाउट थिएटर कि पैसे नहीं होंगे उसमें,
करेक्ट,
राइट? लेकिन मैं इतने लोगों को जानती हूँ रोशन जी जो दिल से इतने पैशनेट है. वन ऑफ माई टीचर्स 12 years he's in acting and लगे हैं, he's not got a break and of course that's his goal. लेकिन वो कहते हैं लिंसिया होगा, लेकिन मैं थिएटर करना चाहता हूँ. मतलब I admire that persistence that he has. लेकिन अगर हम क्रिएटिविटी को कॉमर्स में बदलना चाहते हैं, you've done it very well. Not everybody has been able to crack that code. तो कैसे किया जाए?
Today it's a lot easier to know what is your value or your worth. हमारे ज़माने में शुरुआत में तो ये तक नहीं पता था कि एक वॉइस ओवर करने के कितने पैसे लेने चाहिए, या एक रेडियो शो करने के या टेलीविजन एंकरिंग करने के लिए कितने पैसे लेने चाहिए. What I managed to do, and I think somewhere an event company helped me in this was, कि अगर आपको किसी शो के लिए 5 MCs के बारे में पता करना है, you would also get to know what their price is.
Right.
So when one would get to know what everyone else's price was, I would turn and say, okay, if this is the market price, my price should be the same. So I had a little bit of insider information. But today what I tell people is that, see, there are two ways of doing this. One is put a value or a worth to your time. Suppose I turned and said, how many hours a day do you want to work? Suppose you said 10 hours. Now if you said 20 days a month is what you want to work, that's 200 hours. Now 200 hours of work should be equal to how much value. आप महीने में कितना कमाना चाहते हैं? 5 लाख, 10 लाख, 1 लाख, 2 लाख, जो भी आपका एक बेस नंबर है, अगर आप उसको इन घंटों से डिवाइड कर देंगे, you will know what your per hour cost should be minimum. I've always done this. So I've always known the value of my time. अब मैं वो टाइम की वैल्यू आपको फ्री में दूं, तो I'm doing you a favor. If I do it at my market price, you're paying me what it is. If I'm charging you a bit more, maybe I'm taking advantage of that situation. But I've been in all of these positions from time to time. So I think it's very important to put, most creative people don't know how to put a value to their work. मैंने एक प्ले बनाया, इस प्ले की क्या वैल्यू होनी चाहिए? Now suppose you were directing the play, then the worth or the value of the play, to my mind, should be the number of shows you think that can possibly happen. अगर इस प्ले के 100 शो हो सकते हैं, तो 100 शो में कितने लोग आएंगे? अगर 100 लोग आएंगे हर बार, तो that's a 10,000 people. If 10,000 people pay 500 rupees, so just do the maths. Many people avoid doing the maths, right? Because हमको लगता है अरे ये creativity नहीं है. नहीं, आपकी रोजी रोटी, आपका घर सिर्फ क्रिएटिविटी से नहीं चलता. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू डू दिस. सेट योरसेल्फ सम बेंचमार्क्स, सेट योरसेल्फ सम गोल्स, एंड डिसाइड. देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन आई वर्क फॉर फ्री, बट आई वर्क फॉर फ्री knowing the value of my time or the worth of my time. So don't not know the value or worth of your time. That's the first rule of converting creativity to commerce. The second thing is, if what you do gets an audience, right? हॉबी तब होती है जब आपको चीज पसंद है, लेकिन maybe other people don't enjoy it. When other people start enjoying it, right? When other people are willing to pay with their time, with their effort, then you know that it has a value attached to it. Again, it's important to go and try and define. आज अगर आप Google करें, and I often do this. I mean, there are times I had to do something which might have taken me to Broadway. I didn't know what a Broadway actor gets paid. Google करा, पता लगा कि भाई एक ब्रॉडवे एक्टर को इतने पैसे मिलते हैं, एक बहुत अच्छे ब्रॉडवे एक्टर को इतने पैसे मिलते हैं. मुझे इमीडिएटली पता लग गया कि ये रेंज है अबाउट दिस पेमेंट. डोंट एक्ट. कभी कभार क्रिएटिविटी में ना लोग पुट ऑन दिस लिटिल बिट ऑफ, आई एम नॉट कंसर्न्ड अबाउट मनी. नो, बी कंसर्न्ड अबाउट मनी. बी कंसर्न्ड बिकॉज as creators there will be a time when you may want to invest in yourself, right? अगर आपको 6 महीने की ब्रेक लेनी है कुछ सीखने के लिए, उस टाइम के पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? अगर आपको ट्रैवल करना है वर्ल्ड टू गेट इंस्पायर्ड, उसके पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? सो मेक योर गोल्स, वैल्यू योर टाइम. दैट्स द सिंपलेस्ट वे टू कन्वर्ट क्रिएटिविटी टू कॉमर्स.
बिकॉज आई रिसेंटली अटेंडेड अ प्ले. 3 महीने प्रैक्टिस सेशंस और जो tickets थे free में थे, and 3 months these artists were, and it was a brilliant play, Roshan ji, and I was like, what are these artists doing? Why are they doing this? You know, 3 months is a lot of time, and they do it day in and day out, 9 hours, 10 hours. So
many theatre actors in Bombay do this for 2 reasons. Remember, एक वो इसलिए करते हैं कि मेरे बहुत सारे फ्रेंड्स पृथ्वी में प्लेस करते थे, बहुत पैसे नहीं मिलते थे, तो मैं उनसे पूछता था कि आप पृथ्वी में प्ले क्यों करते हैं. जैसे देखो, पहली बात तो ये है कि आपके आर्ट को देखने नसीरुद्दीन शाह से लेके फिल्म डायरेक्टर्स से लेके राइटर्स सब लोग आते हैं. Somebody may notice you. So many a times people do work for free so that they get noticed. The second reason why people do work for free is when they want to hone their craft. मैंने 2 plays करे पिछले कुछ सालों में, जब मैंने अलादीन करा था या अभी जब मैंने मीरा नायर का मॉनसून वेडिंग करा था. Both the times theatre really doesn't pay the way many other things that I do pay. But I wanted to learn. With Aladdin I wanted to learn कि यार एक डिज्नी का म्यूजिकल कैसे वर्क करता है. मैंने कभी करा नहीं है. I was again curious. तो मैंने एक्टिंग तो थोड़ी सी अपनी जो थी उसको थोड़ा सा कहते हैं ना रौंदा लगाया, पॉलिश कर दिया. But I also learned, oh my God, how these kinetic balls work to make the magic carpet, and oh, how does the choreography happen, and oh, how do they make these sets work. I'm constantly learning. When I was working with Meera Nair, I learned how her eye looks at an actor constantly. And उन्होंने मुझ में एक चीज़ डिस्कवर करी. शी सेड, रोशन, तुम जब लाइन बोलते हो तो तुम एक्ट करते हो, जब तुम लाइन नहीं बोल रहे होते तो यू स्विच बैक टू बीइंग रोशन. एंड आई सेड दैट्स ट्रू, बिकॉज एज एन एंकर आवर माइंड वर्क्स इन दैट मैनर, बट एज एन एक्टर इट डजंट नीड टू. सो इट रियली हेल्प्ड मी ओवरकम समथिंग. So even when you do things for free, which many actors do, they do it either to hone their craft or to get noticed.
Which actually is a very interesting point, because if you look as MCs, when we start off, we actually do that to hone our craft. But I do meet people who say that, you know, यार फकीर रहेंगे, क्राफ्ट पे काम करेंगे, लेकिन इस पे मुझे कॉमर्स वैल्यू नहीं डालना है. इफ नॉट इट विल जस्ट, वो मतलब they just attach something very weird to it, bad to it, कि पैसे मांग रहे हैं, ऐसे थोड़ी चलेगा. I have a very dear friend who's a singer. He's like, जब मैं पैसे मांगता हूँ तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है मेरा सिंगिंग अच्छा नहीं है.
I get where you're coming from. बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि मेरा हुनर, मेरा क्राफ्ट अगर मैं उसको मोनेटाइज करूंगा तो शायद मैं उसको डीवैल्यू कर रहा हूँ. राइट, मैं ये बात समझ सकता हूँ, लेकिन तब भी आपको अपना घर चलाना है, तब भी आपको कुछ तो काम करना है. सो if you're doing it out of the pure love and passion, great. But then how will you lead a life? You know, you'll require a patron of the arts. अकबर ने अपने नवरत्न बनाए थे, बट वो नवरत्न को रिकग्नाइज करके उनको वैल्यू करता था. बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो कि ICCR वगैरह की ग्रांट्स पे जीते हैं, but then they get those grants. Even there you need to make an application. Even there कुछ ना कुछ तो आपको करना पड़ता है कॉमर्स के लिए. I really wish that art could just pay us in love and fresh air, but unfortunately it doesn't
That's
work.
not the thing. So when you moved from being artist to an entrepreneur, Roshan ji, I'm sure आपका mindset में काफ़ी shift आया होगा, right? Thought process change हो जाते हैं. तो what were the thoughts when you were an artist, a freelancer, to moving to an entrepreneur, angel investor?
So couple of thoughts. The first thing is, as an individual, you are responsible for yourself. When you set up a company, you're responsible for a set of people. इन सब की सैलरीज भी मुझ पे निर्भर हैं. इनकी अर्निंग एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ मुझ पे डिपेंडेंट है. Their goodwill, their future is dependent on me. So the first thing you must understand is, as captain of the ship, now the whole ship you need to take. You can't jump off and go swimming yourself, right? That's the first rule. The second rule is that you have to learn when you're doing a business. What is it? We were in the services business, right? Event mein you're providing a service to a brand. Now, the first thing I needed to do was, when I went to the brand, is it wasn't now about Roshan Abbas, the anchor. Now it is about encompass the company and what can we do for you. So I used to say, leave your MC coat outside the door, right? Don't come in saying, oh my God, you know, where's my makeup, where's my this, where's my that, which we are very used to. It was important now to walk in there and say, what can I do for you, rather than what can you do for me. So it's a complete switch as far as that goes. The things that you then learn, of course, are the difficult things, which is taxes भरने होते हैं, company formation करना पड़ता है, right? No, I'm telling you, the first time जब हमने profit बनाया, हमारी company में कुछ 20 लोग थे, they were mostly friends. मेरे theater के 2-3 दोस्त थे, मेरे radio के 1-2 दोस्त थे. अब जब तक पैसे नहीं बन रहे थे, सब लोग जो थे वो मतलब आप गधा मजदूरी कर रहे थे. The minute we made money, the first question that was कुछ किसी ने हिचकते हुए कहा कि भाई अब इस पैसे का डिवीजन कैसे होगा. प्रॉफिट बना है, मैंने कभी जिंदगी में सोचा नहीं था इसके बारे में. मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि यार सारे पैसे तो मैंने लगाए हैं, तो प्रॉफिट क्या मेरा बनना चाहिए या उनका बनना चाहिए. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई लर्नड व्हाट इक्विटी इज. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई लर्नड व्हाट ईसॉप्स आर. दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई लर्नड व्हाट इंसेंटिव्स आर. एंड सच में लिंसिया अपनी कंपनी को खुद शुरू करके 99 मैंने कंपनी शुरू करी थी. यकीन मानो सारे मिस्टेक्स और गलतियां करके ही आदमी सीखता है. So जब initially I said, okay, you know what, I don't know this. We had a wonderful lady called Sue Fertal, who was a American citizen working in India. She came, she worked in advertising. So I said, आपको advertising आती है, why don't you run an agency? So she came, brilliant person, and she said, this is the system. People must come at this time, they must leave at this time. This is how they must be appraised. Now suddenly from a भाईचारा company, we suddenly went into the systems वाली company. तो 10 लोगों ने छोड़ दिया. कह रहे यार ये तो वो कंपनी नहीं रही यार, वो तो दोस्ती यारी वाली बात नहीं रही. तो ऐसे लिसन, इफ यू वांट टू बी पेड यू मस्ट बी मेजर्ड, राइट? इफ यू वांट somebody to value what you do, you've got to be up for somebody to be able to say, were you on time, did you deliver, how many pitches do you make, right? ऐसे आपने 10 pitches जाके कर दी और एक भी नहीं कन्वर्ट हुई, you will turn से मैंने तो बड़ा एफर्ट डाला, but output क्या थी? So you really start building systems. So I keep saying that creative businesses hang between what you call a spirit and a system. और इन दोनों के बीच का जो होता है वो पल्ला कब भारी किसका चाहिए ये तो आपको डिसाइड करना पड़ता है from time to time. But it was a very difficult thing to do. To become from MC to MD was a very different.
क्योंकि मुझे ये पता है कि आपके फैमिली में कोई बिजनेस नहीं चलाता था, आप पहले हैं.
जी, अभी भी.
अभी भी. That's incredible. And did you have a mentor? Like कोई था गाइड करने के लिए?
Not a direct mentor. I used to keep learning from people. So Sandeep Goyal from Rediffusion, the advertising agency, I would say for a long time in Delhi, really guided me because I used to see वो अपनी एजेंसी कैसे चलाते थे. Sandeep used to do the funniest things. एक दिन ऐसा हुआ कि हम लोग उनके ऑफिस में गए और 4-5 बड़े सीनियर लोग, बहुत मतलब really senior people, वो आए ऑफिस कहने लगे यार तुम कौन सी गाड़ी चला रहे हो? So that guy said, sir मैं मारुति चलाता हूँ. अच्छा तुम क्या चलाते हो? मैं ये ज़ेन चलाता हूँ. क्या अच्छा गाड़ी की चाबी दो. So everybody put their car keys. He took all the car keys and he locked them in his cupboard.
Okay.
So everybody is looking at him saying क्या कर रहे हो? कहले जब तक हर एक क्लाइंट से पैसा नहीं आए सब लोग पैदल घर जाना.
Oh my goodness.
I just kept laughing. I said Sandeep, he says यार किसी को वैल्यू ही नहीं है, काम कर देते पैसे नहीं लाते. It was such a strange learning.
Yeah.
But he was an amazing person. Amir Raza Hussain, my theatre teacher, जिनके साथ मैंने बहुत साल दिल्ली में थिएटर करा था, वो कमर्शियल थिएटर करते थे. मैं प्ले में लीड प्ले कर रहा हूँ, मैं बड़ा खुश हूँ. आई एम प्लेइंग दिस बिग रोल. Suddenly there's 3 weeks left for the play and he says, सुनो ये जरा ये फॉर्म ये जाना है एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स. I said, but I'm an actor. He says, एक्टर कुछ नहीं, पहले प्ले होगा तभी तो एक्ट करोगे. तो ये प्ले का एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स का एग्जेम्पशन लेके आओ. मैंने जिंदगी में ऐसा काम नहीं करा था. आई एम वेटिंग एट द एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स ऑफिस, स्टैंडिंग आउटसाइड. मैं देख रहा हूँ लोग अंदर जा रहे हैं, बाहर आ रहे हैं, अंदर जा रहे हैं. मैंने ये तो मेरा काम ही नहीं है. But I said, यार what is it? It's another act. Let's put on this act. So I went in like this बोला वाला student, sir, हम एक प्ले कर रहे हैं, हमको exemption दे दीजिए, ऐसा whatever. So I made a story. The guy gave us the exemption. So when you learn on the job, he used to send us, our theatre director used to send us out almost just a week before the play. उस ज़माने में प्ले के पोस्टर्स लगते थे, तो हम कनॉट प्लेस दिल्ली में पोस्टर्स लगाने जाते थे. एंड he would send us out at about say 8:30 कि जब दुकानें बंद हो जाए तब लगाना, वरना लगाने नहीं देंगे लोग. तो हम लोग हर जगह पोस्टर लगा के आ जाते थे. Then a day later he would take his car and go all around Connaught Place, counting how many posters he could see. And when he would come back, he would turn and say कि I could see 10 posters, चलो तुम्हें एक बर्गर फ्री.
अच्छा. तो
किसी ने बोला अरे मैंने तो 100 पोस्टर लगाए थे. कहते देखो जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So you learn these things from your mentors, small things. तो मेरी जिंदगी में ऐसे मेंटर्स काफी आते गए. डिफरेंट लेवल पे, डिफरेंट लोग, डिफरेंट लर्निंग्स. जब मैं बॉम्बे आया था तो समीर नायर यूज्ड टू बी द हेड ऑफ स्टार प्लस इन दोज अर्ली डेज. Even Rohit Khanna, who was my mentor, and Raghav Behel in television. So you just find a whole set of people and learning किसी से आप सीख सकते हो. मैंने अपनी जिंदगी के कुछ lessons मैं अभी भी बोलता हूँ ऐसे लोगों से सीखे हैं who may not have been the highest people, but they were the most important people. The guy who got me into All India Radio was the guard at the gate, not the CEO. तो उस गार्ड से कैसे दोस्ती करके वहां पर अंदर जाना, कैसे उसको कन्विंस करना, ये सब लोग कभी कभार भूल जाते हैं. आई मीन द कीज ऑफ द बिगेस्ट गेट्स आर हेल्ड बाय समटाइम्स द स्मॉलेस्ट पीपल.
वेरी ब्यूटीफुली सेड. मतलब ऐसे कहा जाता है यू आर इक्वल टू दी 5 people you hang out with. The Roshan,
I'm equal to 500 because I hang out with so many people.
So Roshan ji, who do you hang out with?
I have a very varied set of people that I actually connect with. There was this Dunbar rule which used to say that a person cannot have more than 150 contacts.
Yes.
But frankly, if you ask me, I have thousands of contacts. The
How
people
do you
that
manage them?
No, so I'm a little geeky. So there's an app called Garden. So that app allows you to put people into family, friends, close friends like that. And then it allows you a frequency of when to remember.
अरे वाह.
Right? So क्या है कि भाई अगर आपको कोई बिजनेस कॉन्टैक्ट है, उसका आपको महीने में एक बार रिमेंबर करना है, आप उसको उस कैटेगरी में प्लेस कर दिए, एक महीने बाद वो आपको रिमाइंडर दे देता है. So then it's up to you whether you can. I'm not saying that it works perfectly, but some of the people I really like to spend time with. Obviously, I spend a lot of time with the family at home. But apart from that, Gaurav Kapoor, Ankur Tiwari are very dear friends of mine. They are partners of mine in commune. Gaurav is like a younger brother to me. Ankur is like a artist. I would really say a big artistic support to me that way. Vikram Sathe is a very dear friend of mine. Minnie Mathur, Kausar Munir, Tess Joseph.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of creative people that I spend a lot of time with. And I have a lot of people who maybe I don't check in with so often. But like my bachpan ke dost from Lucknow, whenever I manage to go back, Mohit Mishra is a friend of mine from Lucknow days who's in the US. But I think I speak to him possibly as much as I speak to my parents almost.
Wow.
I speak to my parents every day.
Every day?
Every day. Every morning for 10 minutes I speak to my parents. आप कभी बार ऐसे lessons लेते हैं, किसी ने बोला कि चलो आपकी 100 तक की उम्र हो जाएगी, imagine, right? Now when my parents are in that last leg of their life, in the first 20 years of our life, we spend every day with our parents.
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने.
Suddenly उसके बाद 30 साल ऐसे गुजर जाते हैं जब आप उनके साथ होते ही नहीं हैं. You're so self-consumed. You're so about yourself. Maybe you're providing for your family, but you really don't give them time. And then after 50, you reach a time when you feel that, hey, they need you a lot more. I can't tell you the 10 minutes with my parents every morning calms me down and gives them so much joy. It gives them so much ढारस मिलती है उनको. और मुझे लगता है कि अपने बच्चों को हम लोग सीख 2 तरीके से दे सकते हैं. एक है कि आप बोल के सीख दीजिए. बट जावेद अख्तर साहब जो हैं वो मेरे मेंटर एक तरीके से वो भी हैं, बिकॉज उनके साथ मैंने बहुत काम किया. जब मेरा बच्चा, माई सन वॉज बॉर्न, आई रिमेंबर आई वॉज ट्रैवलिंग विद हिम, आई वाज सेइंग जावेद साहब मैं चाहता हूँ कि मेरे बच्चे जो हैं वो पढ़े लिखे हैं, खूब सारी उनको नेक सलाह मिले. तो मुझसे कहा रोशन, अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आपके बच्चे पढ़ें आप पढ़िए, अगर आप चाहते हैं आपके बच्चे लिखें आप लिखिए. ही सेज बच्चे एक शीशा होते हैं, एक आईना होते हैं, जो देखते हैं उसको रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं. And he gave me a couple of examples from Bollywood of people, and how they had become. And it's very true.
You remember those examples, those people?
So for example, at that point in time, he turned and said that, Abhishek Bachchan for the longest time said he doesn't want to be an actor. But ultimately what he notices, what he sees on a day-to-day basis, you imbibe that. If you were to meet Ranbir, I've worked with Ranbir and whatever, Ranbir is extremely polite. But it comes because if you had met Rishi ji was equally polite. Neetu ji is equally polite if you come across them. So people take these kind of things from each other. Or look at Farhan. Javed Akhtar साहब son लिखते भी हैं, direct भी करते हैं, गाते भी हैं. जावेद साहब गाते नहीं हैं, पर मतलब so he does all of these things. But where does it come? Zoya writes so beautifully. Where does it come from? So today both my children. So I'm just saying that if you can, people will learn by example, by watching what they see. So when I do this with my parents, I hope that maybe when I'm older, my kids will be the same with me.
Roshan ji, which brings me to the next question, because I know how beautifully you have got commune together. और मुझे ये बात इतना अच्छा लगता है कि आपके कम्यून के वजह से इतने सारे आर्टिस्ट, स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन, पोइट्स अक्रॉस द ग्लोब उनको एक मौका मिलता है. क्योंकि हाल ही में मैं एक शो कर रही थी और वहाँ पर मुझे बताया गया था कि सिर्फ ए लिस्टर्स को इंटरव्यू करना, बाकी किसी को इंटरव्यू मत करना. उनके मैनेजर्स आ रहे थे, मुझे बोल रहे थे कि प्लीज़ इंटरव्यू कीजिए, एंड दे आर वेरी टैलेंटेड, हुनर भर भर के है. और मुझे बड़ा बुरा लग रहा था क्योंकि आई डिडंट लाइक इट. आई वाज लाइक ऐसा क्यों? तो आपको ये जो इंडस्ट्री, एंटरटेनमेंट इंडस्ट्री में होता है, आपको क्या लगता है? बिकॉज कम्यून इज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दैट गिव्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू एवरी आर्टिस्ट.
The sad part of this industry is that we are too obsessed by celebrity, right? And we believe that आज देखो चढ़ता सूरज कभी ना कभी ढलता है. ये उस समय नहीं पता लगता जब सूरज चढ़ रहा होता है. Everybody wants to, चढ़ते सूरज को सलाम करना चाहते हैं. But you will not realize how you make people feel when they are down and out. Will come back because you never know when that cycle will take them up again. I have known so many actors who've had a good patch, a bad patch. These are patches. As a person, your attitude towards them should not change. Commune was set up because I felt that artists don't get to collaborate, artists don't get opportunities, artists don't get to learn. Right? हम एक टैलेंट के साथ आते हैं, वो टैलेंट परखा जाता है और उसके बाद जब वो परख के हम उस पर सक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं, हम उसी चीज को करते जाते हैं. Till we get exhausted and then we are like, now what happened to my talent? I'm burnt out. I believe that building a community of artists where people can learn from each other. I can learn from you, you can learn from me, we can all learn from a third person. That was the core of what Commune was about. Commune has been built to make every artist be their best version.
Right.
And it is important. I keep telling people that, someone had once told me this very funny thing which they turned and said that, do not kick somebody on their behind. You might be having to rub your nose in it someday when that person is in a different position. It's an old joke or whatever. But the truth of the matter is how you treat people. I personally believe always comes back to you. मैंने बहुत सारा आज से 20 साल पहले I would have worked with people who must be marketing executives while I was dealing with the CEO, CM. But I made these people feel important. Today, these people are CMOs and they remember. Right? They are friends. Today, one influencer recently moved cities. Now, I had interacted with her when she was in Delhi and whatever, and I just sent a message saying her first post was, I've just moved to Bombay. It's a new city. What will I do? I just turned and said, hey, listen, if you ever need a home meal or something, Shaheen and I are here. We'd love to host you. She was just so happy because her thing was, everybody is reaching out to me for a collab. Nobody is reaching out to me to turn and say, hey, we are there for you. And maybe this comes with age. Maybe this comes with maturity. पर मुझे वही लगता है कि you've got to be around for people who may not matter today. It's not important. Just be nice to people. I mean, अच्छाई में कुछ लगता नहीं है. But if you can do that, life goes much longer.
रिश्ते अभी बहुत ट्रांजैक्शनल हो गए हैं.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
Right? और कभी-कभी ऐसे होता है कि हमारा ग्रोथ माइंडसेट है, आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, इतने सारे एम्बिशंस हैं, इतना कुछ टिक करना चाहते हैं, और हमारे कुछ दोस्त हैं जो 10 साल पुराने हैं, कनेक्शन नहीं कर पाते हम. There's nothing common to talk about. I try hard, but it's not happening. और फिर मुझे ऐसे लगता है कभी-कभी फिक्सिंग मेंटालिटी आता है. अरे ये तो हमारे लेवल पर आया है, नहीं आया है, इसके साथ समय बिताना चाहिए, नहीं बिताना चाहिए. ये कॉन्स्टेंट स्ट्रगल है. You want to be kind, you want to be there, you want to keep that friendship. फिर ऐसे लगता है यार आगे भी तो बढ़ना है. तो वो आप कैसे मैनेज करते हैं that you don't have transactions in every relationship, but also you have to grow, आगे बढ़ना है. कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
Learning how to say no is as important as knowing how to say yes. Right? I say yes to many things, but recently, in the last couple of years, I started saying no because you can't make time for everyone. You can't make time. There will be a lot of people from your school days. Some of them are relationships that I do not want to continue with. And if those people try and reach out, I'm polite, but I am not present. And वो लोगों को पता लग जाता है कि भाई, oh, let's all meet up. I'm sorry, I'm busy with work. Now, when people hear it two, 3 times, they समझ जाते हैं कि भाई maybe you don't want to meet or whatever. You'll have to believe who do you want to cherish as relationships, as bonds, and don't get, unfortunately, the industry we're a part of forces us to compare. Right? ये ज़्यादा अच्छा है, इसके followers ज़्यादा हैं, इसका ये काम चल रहा है. Really, in the long run, it won't matter. I know it's difficult to say. I can say it because I'm on this side of the line. I've done a lot of it and now I don't want to do it anymore. But when you're in the space where you are, because you're still working your way into that space, sometimes we get stuck in all these comparisons. Don't do it. I invest in a whole bunch of businesses. People say, अरे आप क्या देखते हैं? मैं सिर्फ ये देखता हूँ कि on a day when I was not discussing business, would I spend time with that person? Does that person's ethics or morals or values match mine? That's what I'm looking for. Because पैसे बनाने के हजारों तरीके हैं दुनिया में. I mean, you can make money from Bitcoin, you can make money from, hard work, you can make money from cleaning a sewer, you can do anything at all with your words or whatever you want. But just valuing people is very, very important. And it's very difficult to say, but I just try to now figure out, are these people I really wish to invest in? Do I want to spend time with them? Will they be around for me? Has become a very important way of dissociating and cutting out the rest.
कई बार ऐसे होता है रोशन जी कि हमारे 10 साल पुराने फ्रेंड हमें कॉल करते हैं, उनसे बात नहीं हुई है, यू आर देयर टू हेल्प देम, लेकिन आपसे वो और भी ज़्यादा चाहते हैं. दे थिंक दैट फ्रेंडशिप इज स्टिल ऑन, लेकिन आप मूव ऑन हो गए. एंड देन दिस गिल्ट, दिस ट्रिमेंडस गिल्ट कि should you be there for the person or should you not? I don't know how you deal with this.
I think I'm past it, but definitely from time to time, if people ask me to help them with something,
हक जताते हैं.
देखो, हक जताना एक बात होती है. मैं छोटे शहर से हूँ, लखनऊ में जब मैं जाता हूँ तो सारे लोग वहां पर हक कैसे जमाते हैं, अरे यार अब तो that it's that backslapping kind of friendship or whatever. Yeah, it's fine. Give them their space, give them their worth and value for that moment, but don't stretch that moment.
How do you set boundaries, Roshan ji?
Honestly, I've not been very good at it earlier, and I used to get into a lot of issues because I would be like, I would overextend myself, then I would feel very guilty, then I would feel very bad, अरे मैंने ऐसा क्यों करा, whatever. Just learning how to say no, getting comfortable with saying no is important. अरे यार, when are we catching up? I say, यार, I'm really sorry, I just don't have the time. Person says, oh my God, you're being rude, you're being selfish. Yeah. Unfortunately, हम लोग अच्छाई में बहुत मर जाते हैं कभी कभार. So it's not, you don't have to be a nice person all the time. It's not necessary. Don't fret over it too much. और भी कम है ज़माने में.
हसल कल्चर के बारे में मैं बात करना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि मैंने वरुण के शो में देखा था कि आपने हसल कल्चर के बारे में बात किया कि where is this hustle culture going, right? हमें इतनी सारी चीज़ें अचीव करनी है. तो आई डोंट नो एनी अदर वे देन हसलिंग, राइट? इफ़ यू डोंट हैव दी द क्या बोलते हैं, माँ बाप नहीं है और आपको सॉर्ट आउट करना है, सो दैट द ओनली वे यू डू इट इज, आई नो एटलीस्ट, इज हार्ड वर्क, राइट? स्मार्ट वर्क. बट देयर इज ऑल्सो अनदर वे, मैनिफेस्टेशन, ईज एंड ग्रेस, राइट? तो दोनों को हम कैसे साथ में लेके आए? Have the hustle culture also, but ease and grace. I wanted to understand, were you a hustler?
I definitely was. I mean, in the early days, I was so hungry for work. There's a Richard Branson line, screw it, let's do it.
Yeah.
मतलब मुझे कोई भी काम दिया जाता था, I would say yes, and then I would figure out how it needs to be done. But I would get it done. The important thing is, don't make commitments you can't keep to, because then you become अरे तो फेंकते, right? Very quickly people understand अरे ये तो फेंकू है. That's not important. You must be able to deliver on what you said. Delivering has always been absolutely critical in my life. I could have 104 fever, but if I have to deliver, I will deliver. I was writing a post the other day where I remembered an event which I had done, where my partner unfortunately had a big crisis at home and he just couldn't turn up. He used to design all the sets and everything. I needed to get it done and this was the beginning of my career. I was also anchoring the show. मुझे याद है कि मैं शो से आधे घंटे पहले पीछे कीले ठोक रहा था because it had to be done. So delivering is important, right? That's one thing. So don't just commit and not deliver. Hustle has become a lot about, hustle has become all about saying be in the right room, make the right connections. But the problem with hustling that I find is it's become a very use and abuse mentality, right? मैंने इस आदमी का इस्तेमाल करा, आगे निकल गए. That is what I am opposed to. What I am opposed to is don't forget the people who got you there.
Right.
And that is where I keep saying that if you want to hustle, but hustle with some heart, right? While working with Meera Nair again, there was a line one day she told me which I can never forget. She says, have the heart of a poet and have the hide of an elephant. So don't forget the sensitivity, but also remember अगर किसी ने कुछ बोल दिया तो बोल दिया. You must be able to fight through. That's important as well. So I think hustling is a lot about अरे आप बड़े lucky हैं. नहीं. Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. Were you prepared for it? Or you got to make a film with Shah Rukh Khan. I got to make a film with Shah Rukh Khan because I wrote a play which I converted into a screenplay, which I carried with me in my bag for years on end till one day I was hosting a show with him and he said, "What are you doing?" But if I hadn't done it, what would I have said? मैं कुछ सोच रहा हूँ. So be prepared. That to me is good hustle. Bad hustle is when people are just frenetically trying to throw themselves into everything which may not concern them, where they forget people who got you there, where they are not prepared, chance पे डांस जिसे कहते हैं ना. ठीक है, but चांस पे डांस पर डांस आना तो चाहिए ना. कुछ तो करना चाहिए. That's what's important.
रोशन जी, luck जो है आप इसमें कितना बिलीव करते हैं? Because in commune I'm sure there's so many talented actors, poets. मतलब ऐसे ही लगता होगा कि यार ये इतना talented है, but why hasn't it clicked? मतलब luck का क्या रोल है?
Again, see what I said before, that luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. Are you prepared? Right? Have you got your best work ready? Commune has featured actors, poets, storytellers, musicians, so many people. Some of those stories work better than others, right? I have no role to play in it. Babil's story, which he did about his father, Irfan Saab, in Jan at Spoken Fest, it just exploded. Because usme, it was not Babil Khan talking about Irfan Khan, it was a son talking about a father. There was a truth to the emotion. So very often I keep telling people that, just be true to yourself. And particularly commune as a platform has been built for the unfiltered you. हम जो ये filter लगा के अपने आप को present करते हैं ना, that's not commune. Commune is very unfiltered. The more honest you are, the more people love you, because people now want to resonate with vulnerability. People want to know, hey, Lincia also made a mistake. People want to know, oh, Roshan also had an issue. When you talk of those things, people, एक phrase है जिसको मैं बहुत use करता हूँ कि you're flawsome. You're flawed, but you're awesome. You can be flawed, but you also are awesome. That's fine. पर ये दोनों पहलू बहुत ज़रूरी है. That's what's important.
Wow, flawsome नया word मैं सीख रही हूँ. और मुझे अभी भी याद है मेरे stage shows में मैंने इतने flaws किए हैं. I made so many mistakes. I'm sure the same has gone with you. I remember going on stage and actually I was just like, I freezed. और मैंने audience को पूछा कि CEO का नाम क्या है? Can you? It was bad. I still remember.
A very famous anchor once went on to a cola event and took the name of the rival company. And I mean, the whole hall, I remember, had gone like.
So ऐसे होता है. तो what is that one lesson which is very very important when you are an orator या storytelling आप कर रहे हैं या आप stage पर हैं, एक aspect जो हमेशा हमें याद रहना चाहिए?
I would say learn to read the room. देखो हम जितना भी prepare करके जाते हैं, मेरे पास कहानियाँ होती हैं, jokes होते हैं, quotes होते हैं, CEO का नाम सब होता है. पर जब मैं स्टेज पर जा रहा होता हूँ किसी भी शो से पहले, मैं 5 मिनट सिर्फ ऑडियंस को ऑब्जर्व करता हूँ. Listening is the best part of speaking, right? If right now my concern is as much, have I got his attention, her attention, their attention? If I don't have their attention, I'm telling you, because I mean, my mind is constantly, they're my audience right now, right? She turned away for a little while, I was like, I lost her. You know, it's that's how my mind works. I'm constantly listening to the room. जब मैं hall में जाता हूँ, there are times when you enter a hall और बड़ी people are waiting. अब उस समय जाके अगर आप 10 मिनट की स्पीच लोगे, लोग थप्पड़ मारेंगे. Instead, walk in and say, hey my God, are you exhausted? Are you tired? हाँ 10 मिनट से वेट कर रहे हो यार, मैं भी वेट कर रहा हूँ. So I'm not going to do anything. Here's the CEO. They love you for it. पर आपको लगता है ना, 10 मिनट की स्पीच तो मैं दूंगा ना. I have to tell them I am so and so. No. Are you willing to take a joke on yourself? I used to walk on stage and I used to very often start with a funny joke on myself. और अरे यार ये अपने आप पे जोक ले रहा है, अच्छा आदमी है. If you come up with a stick up your ass, right? When you come, hello, I'm so. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So learn to read the room. I keep reading the room I am in, and I think that's listening is the biggest part of speaking. People don't understand that. You know?
Yeah, बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि हमें बोलना है, हमें क्या बोलना है.
And which is what happens. People just keep going patter. दूसरे को देख ही नहीं रहे, समझ नहीं रहे उसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज क्या है, वो क्या सोच रहा है, वो क्या देख रहा है. That's so important.
बिल्कुल सही कहा. And I also remember you saying this, and मुझे ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है रोशन जी अप्लाई करने के लिए. आपने ये लाइन यूज़ किया है, don't let your net worth, don't let your net worth be equivalent to your self worth. सर बहुत आसान होता है बोलना, लेकिन बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है जब लोगों को आप देख रहे हैं, this one is going to Met Gala and this one is, you know, wearing a Gucci. And how do you apply this quote in your life? कैसे करें बताइए.
देखो बहुत ही सिंपल सी चीज़ है. एंड अगेन आई विल गो बैक टू सम ऑफ माय फेवरेट्स बिकॉज जावेद साहब इज अ वेरी बिग फेवरेट ऑफ माइन. जावेद साहब का एक शेर है विच सेज, गिन गिन के सिक्के हाथ मेरा खुरदुरा हुआ, माई हैंड बिकेम रफ. राइट, आई काउंटेड सो मच मनी, माई हैंड बिकेम रफ. गिन गिन के सिक्के हाथ मेरा खुरदुरा हुआ, जाती रही लम्स की नमी, आई लॉस्ट ऑल फीलिंग, जाती रही लम्स की नमी, बुरा हुआ. What happens is, in a highly material world, you will forget at some point, no, sensitivity मर जाती है. आदमी के अंदर का जो feeling होती है ना, वो मर जाती है. When you're by yourself, what do you need? Today, all science, I mean, I'm a huge nerd, so I keep reading about a lot of things. Science has proved that there are such simple, basic things that we need to exist, right? If you don't need to eat 16 hours a day. You could just be fasting 16 hours a day and it's great for you. You need to sleep 8 hours a day. You need to be able to take some control of your breathing. You should expose your body to extremes of temperature so that your body feels alive, right? You must be able to meditate or take. Now all of these things suddenly will sound, oh my God, this is so, अरे ये तो हम अपनी old age में करेंगे. नहीं, just the pandemic was the biggest chief transformation officer for your life. It told you when you're by yourself, what do you need? Do you need the Gucci? Do you need the Prada? Do you need that travel outside? You don't. लगता है, मैं बता रहा हूँ. देखो, and again शाहरुख खान ने बोला था, बड़ा आसान लगता है पैसे होने के बाद ये कहना है कि पैसे की कोई जरूरत नहीं. नहीं, मैं बिल्कुल ये नहीं कहता हूँ. Money is important, but knowing how much is enough is equally important. Because there's no end. There is no end to earning, and there is really no end to spending. I have now a home in Dubai and I have a home here. हम जब दुबई गए थे, believe you me, किसी ने मुझे बोला कि दुबई ऐसा शहर है जो सबको गरीब बना देता है. Because when you go there, एक साइड से रोल्स रॉयस जा रही है, एक तरफ से लैम्बोर्गिनी जा रही है, कोई जो है वो 50,000 का खाना खा रहा है. और ये क्या हो रहा है? तो अल्टीमेटली तो वही है. शाहरुख खान भी उसी बिस्तर पे सोएगा, मैं भी उसी बिस्तर पे सोऊंगा. वो भी एक लिहाफ ओढ़ेगा, शायद ज़्यादा सॉफ्ट हो, शायद इजिप्शियन हो, शायद उसके ऊपर कोई लेबल लगाओ, पर ठंड उसको भी लगेगी, मुझे भी लगेगी. तो यू नो, इट्स यू हैव टू, you've got to be able to bring ये कॉस्मेटिक कंजम्पशन ओरिएंटेड दुनिया, ये हमारी जो इंस्टाग्राम की दुनिया है ना, 24 घंटे डोपामीन, ये 24 घंटे डोपामीन इज अ डेंजर. Like even with my kids, I tell them, I say, थोड़े, अरे come on, we are born with it, we've got. I say, guys, just remember what it is to lead a life with no stimulation. We are so stimulated all the time that you're constantly looking for your next stimulation. Bore होना जीवन का एक बहुत important part है. Because your mind actually assimilates things जब आप बोर होते हैं. आप जब सोते हैं, why do you need more sleep? You need more sleep because everything you've done in the day, your brain needs to compartmentalize and fit it. इसको यहाँ डालो, इसको वहाँ डालो. पर अगर आपको जब नींद नहीं मिलती ना, then you get overstimulated. So boredom, not worrying about other people, the joy of not worrying about other people, na JOMO, the joy of missing out. Not FOMO.
JOMO.
हाँ.
Wow.
The joy of missing out, not FOMO. Fear of missing out नहीं है. JOMO. अरे हो गया सानू की. It doesn't make a difference. Right? So see, everyone is at Cannes. Great. Tess put up a beautiful thing. She said between the influencers and the fashion, people forgot the films. You're at Cannes to see the films. You're there to celebrate Harrison Ford getting a 7-minute ovation for a career of 50 years.
Yeah.
You're there because Martin Scorsese has launched a film which is actually confronting.
उसके बारे में ज़्यादा बात ही नहीं होती, यही बात होती है.
तो यही है ना, क्योंकि हमारी कंजम्पशन साइकिल ये हो गई है. हम कंज्यूम अभी ये करना चाहते हैं. हमको देखना है कि यार अगला क्या हो रहा है, कुचला में क्या हो रहा है, यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, वहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है. ठंड रख. You know, it's okay. It'll happen. Chill. Which I feel that is a little challenging, but I am going to apply that. Whatever you said. Yeah. JOMO. The joy of missing out. आज से joy of missing out, Roshan ji. So contrast creates captivation is what I read somewhere. As an artist, हम अपने में वो contrast कैसे ढूंढे? Contrast creates captivation is a phrase that applies to the fact of saying if everyone is being X and you are Y, that's the contrast, right? So it's another way of saying don't swim with the tide. Right. Try to do something else. जब मैंने एंकरिंग शुरू करी थी, early days में Cyrus Brocha was perhaps the smartest, sharpest anchor. What Cyrus didn't know was Hindi. That was my strength. जो साइरस को नहीं पता था वो तो शेरो शायरी जो मुझे आती थी, कहानियां मुझे आती थी, whatever. And we used to keep joking. So यार बगा, I'm so much smarter than you. और मुझे हिंदी नहीं आती, तो यार क्या बताऊं, मेरी एक स्ट्रेंथ है. So find your strength and hold on to it. Build. If you start becoming like everyone else, many people tell me, you know, I'm always curious. I keep saying, I said, you know, I have the brain of a Gen Z. Right? I may have the body of a Gen X, but I have the brain of a Gen Z because I'm always trying to figure what's new, what's different, what is Chat GPT, what is AI, what will they do, what will happen with Mid Journey, what will happen with DALI. I want to know all of that. उसको use करना मेरे ऊपर है, but keep building differentiations. जब मैं शुरुआत में game shows anchor करता था, after doing a bunch of game shows, I got offered a countdown show. I did that. I had done 3 game shows. But the countdown show made me different. जब मैं countdown show कर रहा था, जब मुझे जीना इसी का नाम में मिला, it was a different show. I did that. Suddenly in the middle of that, I got a show which was, I had to suddenly go and anchor a big premiere with Mr. Bachchan for something. I kept picking different experiences. Suddenly doing a play at the age of 50, I mean, people are, why would you do a play at the age of 50? Felt like doing it. Oh my God, but it doesn't pay. That's fine. But you must keep throwing yourself into situations that create a contrast. अलग अलग रंग में अगर अपने आप को रंगोगे नहीं तो फिर वो डिफरेंस कहाँ से आएगा? तो मतलब कभी आप एक्टिंग करो, कभी पोल डांसिंग करो, कभी बेली डांसिंग, मतलब जो खुद पसंद है और जिससे आपको लगता है कि आपके प्रोफेशन या आपके हुनर में आपको आगे ले जाएगा. आई एम नॉट एन एथलेटिक पर्सन एट ऑल, बट आई वर्क आउट 3 days a week because I need to, not because I would like to. But hey, do I like to sing? Yes, I do. So I'll spend time with some friends and sing and do something funny. I write scripts. I'll do that. So do things that you enjoy. There's so many. I mean, the joy of Google and the whole internet is that we live in a democratic world where everything is accessible. So find your next high, find the next contrasting color that you want to go to and build that into something new.
When I look at you, मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि एक मूवी मेरे दिमाग में आता है, वो है Yes Man. क्योंकि आप हर चीज़ को आपने yes कहा है और उसके बाद आपने उसे इतनी खूबसूरती से effortlessly किया है. Each and everything that you've done. But as a person, I've always felt that can get you into trouble when you're doing yes to everyone and everything. It's an opportunity. As an artist, you're hungry, right? As an entrepreneur, you're hungry. where do you stop?
So as I told you, in my early days, I used to say yes a lot more. Now I don't. Now I do very often say no as well. And my no is now very defined by, is this something that I will enjoy doing? Is this something that will deliver some value? These are the two things I look at. I mean, one axis and the other axis. Enjoy, not enjoy, value, no value. So value and not enjoy तब भी शायद कर सकता हूँ because maybe it's a monetary value. I remember when I did cricket in 2008, I didn't know anything about cricket. 2000. I did cricket because at that moment I needed to earn a lot of money because I bought a very expensive house, which I'm today very proud of. But I needed to do that. I needed to extract value even if I didn't enjoy it. But you must know on that
How to
axis.
compartmentalize.
If it is no joy, no value, why would you ever do it? So that I don't do. If it's lots of joy, little value, yes, I do it, like the play. Less value, lots of joy, right? Lots of value, lots of joy, commune. Yes, lots of value, lots of joy, encompass. Lots of value, lots of joy, glitch. You know, so the things that I've invested in, the companies that I've built, they fall on that axis.
और वो एक्सेस की अगर हम बात करें तो एक बुक है रॉबर्ट कियोसाकी का, और आई थिंक द नेम इज रिच डैड पुअर डैड, एंड इट स्टार्ट्स विद ई इज फॉर एम्प्लॉई, एस इज फॉर सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड, B is for business and I is for investor. और आप सारे categories जो है आपने पूरा किया है, तो every category must have taught you something. Like, what was it that has really stuck with you?
I think in each of those boxes, I learned something different. Though one caveat, I was never an employee. Strangely, while I
when you
worked,
were an RJ?
no. So what happened? So I was a freelancer. They offered me to be an employee, and I refused.
अच्छा.
Because I valued my time. मैं जब टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया गया, मैंने देखा कि रेडियो जॉकी अपना शो करने के बाद 5 घंटे वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं करता था. मैंने कहा मैं ये 5 घंटे क्या करूँगा यहाँ पे? और नहीं, but I said no. I will come and do my show in the morning. I'll do my show in the evening. But in between, I'll be free to do what I want. So I think as a freelancer, valuing time and effort is very critical, right? So that starts with the employee bit or whatever, etc. Right? As a self-employed person, I think it's pretty much the same thing for me because I was along the same lines. I just needed to understand what is the output I need. मुझे याद है मैंने जब mass communication से pass out करा था, मुझे 10,000 रुपये महीने के कमाने थे. कैसे भी कमाने थे, लेकिन कमाने थे. उसमें से 3,200 आता था from radio, 2,000 आता था from voice over, 2,000 आता था from writing, 3,000 आता था from anchoring. But I had to divide it up. But I knew this is exactly how I'll make my money. So that was it. As a business person, what I told you before, knowing that what are you building, why are you building it, who are you building it for, who are you building it with. I've had one of the things I'm very proud of is that Encompass has a set of people who've been with Encompass for years, 20 saal, 15 saal. And when you hear those stories in today's day and age where people jump jobs every 3 months, to have people work that long speaks of the culture of a place. As an investor, I look for ideas that I would have loved to do, but I can't myself. And the second thing, as I said, is people who I want to spend time with because I really want to get to know them better. It's not about money. Right. Money is something with the grace of God. I've always realized the more I run away from money, the more money chases me. So I don't chase money.
That's a very powerful line.
It just somehow works.
Effortless. So you've always done it with ease and grace.
Absolutely. I don't think रात को सोते वक्त ना अगर आपके दरवाजे पे कोई खटखटाए तो आपको ये डर नहीं होना चाहिए कि कौन है और क्यों है. Right? I'm never worried about that. I haven't screwed over anyone in my life. I've tried to do my best work for the best people always. I don't think anyone can come and say, oh my God, he screwed us over. That's it. So if you've led a life of ethics and value, things are good.
I love your relationship with Shine. मतलब जो poems लिखते हो आप, मुझे ऐसा लगता है मुझे भी ऐसा कोई husband मिले जो ऐसे poems हमारे लिए लिखे
25 साल के बाद.
तो मुझे ऐसे आपका भी कुछ non-negotiable होगा रिश्ते में, that this is something that we absolutely do for the family. तो क्या है वो non-negotiable आप दोनों के बीच?
I really feel that, see, I'm a very easy-going person or whatever. What I like is the fact that Shaheen is very clear with setting boundaries.
Shaheen, his wife,
is my much better half. And what's happened is that I think over the years, she has prioritized things very clearly. Today we went to my daughter's school just now and she said, you remember when I came to the school the first time, how excited I was. To me, my kid going to a school was important. To her, the kid going to the best school was important, you know. For Shaheen, taking a holiday every year was important. For me, like my work is so much fun, I didn't mind it. But, you know, I started taking those breaks. So I think taking breaks is a non-negotiable. One thing which we've started stretching a little now because of just living in two different countries at times is that sometimes on important dates you're not together, but we try our maximum to be together on birthdays, anniversaries with the kids, etc. if we can. These are very important things. Spending time with family and spending, I think during the pandemic, one of the amazing things she used to make us do was everybody would sit together and let's all watch a movie.
Saath mein.
Saath mein. Now, you've got, my son was 18, my daughter at that time would have been, 14. They were, oh my God, no, you pick a film. One day you pick a film, one day you pick a film, one day you pick a film. But, just the joy of sitting together as a family, jo hum log nahi karte. I think these are very important things. The other thing is, Shaheen wears her heart on her sleeve and whatever. Like, she is absolutely frank to the extent of, like, my wife will say such things. But what I like is that she's so straightforward and whatever. So I think, when two people fill each other's lives by these things, right? I'm a very, very diplomatic kind of person. She's absolutely muphad, doesn't care.
The right partner, yin and yang.
So I think that really works in our relationship, whatever. She loves dressing up. I will wear whatever she says. You're wearing that shirt for the 20th time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still the shirt I like, So it's that. So I think that's a great thing. But the non-negotiables really are family time, just family vacations, making time for each other. I think that's the lovely part.
In this conversation, Roshan ji, I feel you have lived many lives in one life.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed.
And you're truly blessed. And I am blessed to have you on this show. It's been an absolute joy. You are joy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Lincia.
Roshan
It was
ji.
a pleasure being here and I wish you all the very best. I hope the show does really well and I hope you do really well.
Thank you. Bless you. And if you loved this episode, you know what you have to do. You have to go on the comment section, write comments and do subscribe. Thank you.